Hey, and welcome to me. I thought I'd do a kind of vlog today, but this is not a vlog in the normal sense of the word. Not a, well, at least not a vlog that I normally would do. Today is house chores day, and I have a little bit to do, and I thought I'd also take up the opportunity to talk about the importance of having a sweet person in one's life that gives one meaning to get up in the morning and so on. I'm also going to be doing some preparation work for dinner. It is going to take some time to do, 3.5 hours in the oven, and therefore I have chosen to basically take the easy way out. It's using a piece of sirloin and onion and broccoli and cauliflower and also potatoes, and doing this takes some time, and I think it is a good idea if I start with it now, because here in Sweden we have just before 2 p.m. and therefore it might be a good idea to start. I'll be making it in this together with tin foil. Quite a large piece of tin foil actually, considering that it is mainly used for other purposes. But the thing is, why I'm using tin foil is because it gives a rounder heat to the whole thing that I'm preparing, and it'll also collect all the juices without them steaming off and burning the food instead. Is this a kind of cooking vlog? Well, that is up to the individual to decide. I tend to like using onions that have just started sprouting. It's not large amounts of sprouting, but still enough to give a little bit of extra taste to the whole thing. If you wonder what the music in the background is, it's Brazilian music, and I sometimes listen to that just to get a bit of variation, and also I have a friend that is, or a friend, or a special friend, if we put it that way, that is from Brazil. Special friend in the little bit higher level of friend. I'm not going to go into any details, so don't get any ideas. And then I have the sirloin. This one is a pre-spiced, and it has also been lying in a kind of a salty solution in the old-fashioned style, which will give it a rounder, more full taste. You probably think, okay, he's going to do it that way. Is he not going to let it lie in a plastic bag or in a container to marinade, but I am going to spice it up with salt and pepper and curry and a little bit of basil and parsley, and then I'm going to make a liquid mix with pepperoni and olive oil. I can also sometimes, when I feel the need for having it a little bit stronger in the taste, then I use chili oil as well, but that won't be today. There's a reason for that. I will also be using garlic cloves that I will crush and add to this mixture together with vegetable broth. I'm going to boil up some water, and then I'm going to use a container to make the broth dissolve. This is just giving you a general idea of what I'm doing today. Give me a moment. I just had to turn down the volume so that I could hear myself thinking. It is a bit hard when one has loud music on and everything just seems to dissolve into a mix of boiling water and me talking and the music in the background and running water and so on. So I just put the vegetable broth in here, and then I'm going to dissolve it. Yes, I smelled it. That is just to check up that it is okay. Sometimes one goes to the store and buys something, and then one forgets to check the best before date. And I am not particularly fond of using products that have bypassed the best before date at all. And I suppose that is a concept that also passes out into the friendship world when somebody is being unnecessarily annoying and constantly just pushing their luck in a way, I suppose is the simplest way to describe it. Well, like I said, garlic cloves, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 onions, and I'm going to soon take out the broccoli and the cauliflower out of the deep freezer, because I am not going to pre-boil it or even just make it soft. I'm going to put it into the tin foil as it is. They are very big pieces, but as time goes on, since this is going to be in the oven for a very long time, they kind of soften up and become part of the total taste. The curry powder that I use is Oriental curry. And then I have a special type of pepper. This is 4 different types of pepper: green pepper, red pepper, black pepper, and white pepper. And then I would normally use fresh spices like parsley and dill and basil, but since it is winter here and I want to have a longer keep on the stuff that I use, I buy these on bottle. These are ecological variants of the spices, which give it a better taste. Then I have my salt dispenser, and it has a light so that I can see how much I actually am dispensing on things when I'm doing it in an area that might not have enough lighting. It is a bit of a fancy gimmick, if you get my meaning. But anyway, I'm just going to rinse this off. I always rinse off the meat to remove excess blood plasma, and that is because the excess blood plasma has a bite taste that it kind of gives the food a feeling of no thank you. Okay, so I am very particular. So be it. Hot water to the olive oil and pepperoni and the vegetable broth. And then a little bit of pepper in it. I know you can't see this, but I suppose you can hear my description of it anyway. This is just a preparation in advance, just so that I can put the meat into this mixture. The thing is that it has to cool off first, because otherwise the meat starts to ferment, and I don't want that at all. That would just be disgusting. But I have to get it to mix before, so that and therefore I must use hot water. I'm also adding 2 cloves of garlic, crushed of course. And the 1 clove of garlic I'm just going to chop up into smaller pieces together with the onion and put it at the bottom of the tin foil. People may think that it sounds a little bit strange, but so be it. I can't satisfy everybody, and I do things my way. This is my life, and I like to think that I have the free will to be able to choose how I do things. Oh yeah, right. Some people in this country have authority phobia, and if one talks about being a little bit backward to the authorities, then one has a tendency to end up in this disputes, which in the end it ends up being that they go to the police authorities and press charges for blasphemy or defamation of information and justice. I quite frankly don't care, because I'm a grown man. I am, after all, 53 years old, turning 54 in June. I have my own mind, I have my own thinking, and I have my own opinions, and I don't give a hoot what people think about what I think about things. It is my opinion, and if you cannot live with that, then that's your problem. I am who I am, and if a person cannot accept that, then, well, what can I do about it? I just try to be who I am and live my life within the boundaries of the law. But if it is illegal to raise your voice and say that I don't like this and I don't like that, then something is seriously wrong. Oh well, I just went out to get hold of a plastic bag for the meat, but I don't have one. But so I would have to use other methods. Let's just see if I can find anything usable. I have a tendency to save a lot of these things, and they can be practical at times. In this case, I just put that there, and then I just add the mix to this. Now, you may think, okay, it doesn't cover the whole thing, and it certainly doesn't. But that is a minor problem, because in a while I'm going to come here and turn it over. Now, just to put a lid on it, and it's a matter of having the correct one, of course. Thereby sealing it in and then giving it a good shake. So that every inch of the meat actually is mixed around in it. And then be a good boy and put things back where I took them from, so that I don't have to go around and pick up pieces here and there again. I hate disorder. And there is a good reason why I hate disorder. I have grown up in a missionary home. My mom and dad liked to keep it clean and spick and span while they were alive. And well, since both my mom and dad passed away in Alzheimer's disease, it kind of was a step downwards in their lives, which just was very difficult to see. Now I'm going to even spice a bottom layer on the tin foil itself. Just some salt and pepper, and then some frying pan oil. That is just so that it kind of flows out as the heat in the oven increases, because I don't prepare the food from a pre-warmed oven. I prepare the food from cold oven, because then it really gets into the meat and the other food slowly but surely, and cooks the food from the inside and out instead of out and in. Then it gets more well done, and yet very soft and easy, very pliable. When you then take the knife afterwards, you just basically just pull the knife. You couldn't use a knife that isn't even sharpened to cut the meat. And then if you want to make it into pulled pork, for example, or pulled ox fillet, or beef, pulled beef, or pulled chicken, or whatever, you can just leave it in the oven for just another 3 hours, and then it'll just basically fall apart. Now to find my second most lethal knife that I have. It is a extremely sharp knife. You that have seen my cooking vlogs before have seen that knife. The thing is, with this knife, I only need to sharpen it like twice a year, and it just takes a couple of pulls over the what do you call it, sharpening stone. I know it's a special name in English, but I forget it for the moment. Then I cut the onion. Yeah, right. Cut the onion in 2 halves, and then just take the top layer, and there you go, peeled. It's like with the oranges that I have a special way of peeling them as well. It just goes into 4 different peels and it's done. 2 seconds of work. And then there's a hell of a lot of cleaning up stuff to do afterwards. Especially here, because here in Sweden everything has to be sorted. Compost, glass, paper, plastics, wood, electronics, you name it, they have you sorted between the different materials. And of that, almost everything gets recycled. It has been a big job. There's very many towns and cities still that haven't implemented it to its full extent. But the town that I'm living in, or that I lived in, rather, they had implemented it very early in an experimental phase. And now they even are taking care of poisonous stuff like different kinds of fuels and other such liquids. Now we have these sprouts. These I'm going to chop up, and I'm going to use them together with the garlic clove. Press them together. Like so. See, there the sprouts are, and there's the garlic clove. And now I have made the miracle of the disappearing garlic press. Garlic press. Add the onion sprouts in the bottom, like so. And then I take a little bit of garlic, or as I say here in Sweden, white onion. And then ready, steady, crush. It's such a satisfying feeling when you hear it go munchy, crunchy. Some people say to me, well, why are you suddenly this kind of a jovial character? Well, to be honest, that is who I am. But due to circumstances in my life, for a very, very long time, it has been one hell of a mess. And yes, YouTube, I swore a little bit, but I'm not getting monetized anyway for anything that I do. So, who gives a damn? I don't make any money from it, so this is purely for pleasure and fun. Of course, it is a given that it would be good to get extra money in from the side, but if I make too much money, then the government will just take it in taxes, so take the profits in taxes, so there's just no point in it. If I was to make money, then I would have to make money like over 1 million Swedish crowns to make it viable, because the profit tax in Sweden is 55% of your earnings. And that is a hell of a lot of money. So for every million that I make, I would have to pay 550,000 Swedish crowns in taxes. Not enough that they spoof the taxpayer with 105% taxes on petrol, on fuel. The fuel actually costs about 3-4 crowns per litre, maybe 5 crowns per litre. But we are paying 15 crowns per litre today. And that difference between the 5 crowns and the 15 crowns is just taxes. In one way or the other. We pay taxes on the electricity that we have. We pay taxes on how much electricity we use. And we also pay taxes for the lines that the taxes use, because of they are made of copper and steel or whatever it is that is not good for the environment. So we have to pay environment tax on the electricity as well. And then we have split taxes on food and takeaways. Takeaways, you pay 12%, or is it 15% now? I can't remember. It was about to change anyway. And if you eat at the restaurant, you pay 25% tax. Food in the shop, basic stuff, you pay 12%. And then cleaning stuff and shampoos and other details like household equipment. Well, hello my people. Here we go again. 25% tax on that. Don't you just love it? And then my income tax. Not to talk about that. Jesus. 33%. So every 100 crowns that I make, the government takes 33 of those crowns in taxes. So, to get rich in Sweden, I'm sorry government, I don't give a damn if you lock me up for this. In Sweden, you pay more in taxes than anything else in any other part of the world. It is, they use it for the medical stuff. But I can tell you a secret, that is BS, because we may have a deduction system for the medical and high costs prevention. But with a very low income tax, we would be able to afford the medical fees anyway. We would be able to go to the dentist and pay their ridiculous fees. We would be able to, yeah, well, basically speaking, if we could keep a little bit more of our money that we make, then we would be able to afford so much more. But the general idea that it's called Robin Hood taxes, yeah, and it's just that they go the wrong way. They take from the poor and give to the rich, instead of take from the rich and give to the poor. I said this before in another situation, and can you guess what they said? Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, but now it is that way it is. Now this vlog talk blog blah blah is becoming very long, and I hope you're not getting bored by it, but I thought I'd just talk a little bit freely for a change. So, my good people, now this thing is genuinely good in. Now we're going to take the next step. We're going to give a bit of slices in good places with my Japanese knife. And I'm going to slice here, and then I'm going to put the bacon into those slices. Some people just have to accept that one has different ways of talking when one wants to be a little bit different. I know that the Swedes won't like the idea that I'm actually jesting around and just making this in English, because some people don't understand English. But the fact of the matter is, there's way more people that do understand English now than there isn't. So, see, I'll cut it like this. And I will cut this one down. Give me a second. And I am back. I had to restart the next section because max file size was exceeded. So I don't know if something disappeared. So yeah, let's see if I can get these pieces of bacon apart. And then I just simply squidgy that bacon down into each one of these cuts that I made. You can see, I'm going to see if my friend has woken up yet. This is a 3-hour difference between me and where my close friend is. So one has to like adjust to the oddities of time differences. But it'll be all good and well as time goes on, I suppose. Yay! For once I counted correctly. The number of cuts in the meat and the number of bacon slices that there is. So that's what it looks like once the bacon is added. Then I'm just going to do crisp cuts, just to kind of mark off these parts like so. And you see it looks like that. Then I put that part face down, and then I have cut some onion and I spread it over the meat. Then salt, pepper, curry, a little bit of basil, just sprinkling on top, not too much because otherwise it gets this taste of tanginess that it just isn't appealing to me. Right, I don't know if I can get this to be visible like that. And now to get the broccoli and the cauliflower. Cauliflower. Freeze my fingers off. And then broccoli, which lovely enough has a tendency to freeze to my fingers after I've washed them off in cold water, which just is not especially comfortable, but what doesn't one do to eat something good? I have to break this one apart. There we go. And I don't know if you can see this. No, you can't. Forgive the shakiness. But basically it looks like that before I put it into the oven. And now for the interesting part. just trying to fold this over, so it creates a kind of lid over the whole thing. First on the one side, and then I take this liquid and I just give it a pour into the whole mix. The reason why I put roughly cut onions at the bottom is that it creates a space between between the meat and the bottom of the foil until the onion gets soft, and by then it's created so much juices of that it just becomes tangible, and then it doesn't burn. So there we go. Now it's all covered and ready for the oven. 175 degrees Celsius, with heating from top and bottom, and we'll have a look at that in 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours approximately. And I'm now going to continue with whatever it was I was intending to do before. But before I do that, I'm going to take myself a cheese sandwich and a cup of coffee. And I'll return to this in a couple of hours. Well, hi again. Now it has gone a couple of hours and dinner is ready. I do not have salad, unfortunately, but it will have to do anyway. The finished result looks like something like this, so let's just have a see if I can turn the camera around. There. And to that it's fried potatoes with fried onions, and then there will be garlic sauce and a few other things like tomatoes and a few other items. I just have to move them off the hot plate so that it doesn't burn underneath, which would be a kind of a failure. I know I'm holding my hand in the way, but that is on purpose. Due to that, there is images in the background that the people that are in them don't want to be visible. So yeah, that'll be all for this time, and thanks for sticking around and listening to me babble away. I just hope that you all have a pleasant day and continuous to it. I'll catch you later in an upcoming vlog soon.